What's going on, guys? You're checking out QGinHQ. My name is Chris and welcome back to a brand new video. Today's video is one of my favorite. We have a versus video. We have the Keychron K6 versus the GK68XS by Epomaker. First off, you gotta tone it down with these keyboard names because they sound like we're naming airplanes or like, I don't know, top secret submarine missions. It's a lot, okay? But that being said, let's get on with the video. A lot of you guys in my community have been asking me a lot about both of these keyboards. So I see these names been popping up a lot recently over the last month or two, and it just makes sense because these keyboards, like I stated, have a ton of similarities, and at the same time, they have some key differences. So the whole goal and point of this video isn't for me to pick my own direct clear winner here, but hopefully during the process of this video, you guys can figure out which one might fit your daily needs and which one's worth your hard-earned cash. So with that being said, guys, let's get into the video. So for the sake of this video, I chose their more budget-friendly options here, which range between $80 to $110. When you do go purchase these keyboards, there are options for a more premium version that comes in a nice aluminum case, and you could choose switches. But I'm going to go with what I think is going to be their most popular keyboards sold, and those are their budget-friendly options. Since at the end of the day, all these keyboards, they do the same things, even if you put it in a nice premium case. So to my left, we have the Keychron K6. On the right, we have the Epomaker GK68XS. First things first, you're going to notice the keycaps, right? That's the first thing that sticks out to you. Now, when it comes to the Keychron, you have these grayish and a little bit of a tinted dark gray as well, and these really vibrant orange legends on the top end, left and right side. Off the bat, they're nice looking. They're nice, smooth looking keycaps. They're an OEM profile as well, so there's no issues when it comes to gaming and typing. But there's an ABS problem here. They're ABS plastic, which that means, you know, over time, after a little bit of quick use, you're gonna get a lot of oil and grease just kind of build up on these keycaps here, and they're just not gonna last over time. And I don't know why they chose to go with an ABS plastic. Unlike the GK68 to my right here, you have a double shot PBT option. Well, not option, it's just automatically standard. And that means there's more durability when it comes to these keycaps. You're not gonna get an oil buildup. They're not gonna wear and tear on you. Overall, I mean, I've heard some complaints with the GK68 that the legends were pretty inconsistent, but my board itself, they're pretty consistent. Everything except for the little asterisk on the 8 was kind of a little blurred in there. But other than that, my font is pretty much okay on this board. It's an XDA profile, so personally it doesn't bother me much, but XDA, if you take a look at the side here, you'll notice it's kind of like a flat finish. So when it comes to typing, shouldn't be an issue, but when it comes to gaming, you could come into some problems there. Personally, it never really bothers me. OEM is my go-to, but the XDA is not really too insane for me. What's really cool on the Epomaker is this spacebar option. I already have it installed here, and it's super easy. There's two little screws. You can take off the main regular spacebar, and they include a couple extra switches, and you can now turn that spacebar into 3 different switches. So if you are someone who's really good with macros, it's not too much of a problem for you, you can set this up. It's great for productivity. You could have the left side be spacebar, the other 2 be any type of key that you needed to do. Whatever macro you choose, see so fit, you could do that. That's really cool. Like I said, productivity, that's absolutely awesome. You don't see that in the Keychron, and honestly, you don't really see that in a lot of keyboards these days. Now that's really cool, but also can come into a problem because let's say you just, you know what, you look at this Epomaker board and you're like, I really don't like these keycaps. You know, you can't really easily go out and purchase another keycap set because you're going to run into problems when you find these small little spacebar keycaps. So that could be a problem. But you know, if you're not looking to swap out keycaps, that's not a big deal. Now, both of these keyboards have hot swappable PCBs. If you guys are unfamiliar with that, a hot swappable PCB just basically allows you to take whatever current switch you have in the board itself and pop a new one in and out with ease, no soldering required. So if you want to pick up some new switches in the future, or you might have some switches lying around your house, you can easily pop one in and out, mix and match, whatever you see so fit. Now, I also feel that every new keyboard these days should just come, especially mainstream boards, should just come with, hot swappable PCBs. Just makes life a little bit easier. Now, both keyboards do have Bluetooth capability, which is another huge plus. I don't see anyone gaming with Bluetooth, obviously, but when it comes to typing, whether you're at work in an office or maybe you're just at home chilling on the couch and surfing the web, wireless is always a cool option to have. Now, if you're a Mac user, this is great because both of these keyboards are Mac OS compatible. Yes, Mac, iOS, Windows, or Android, you can connect up to 3 devices at once, and you can easily navigate to each one with a press of a button. I will say overall though, using both of these keyboards, the Keychron is definitely an easier keyboard to navigate when it comes to all the options that both these boards have. It really kind of just has it all listed right out there in front of you on each key, while the GK68XS will take some getting used to and memorizing which function key does what. I mean, at the end of the day though, it is all in the manual and you can set up your own function and macros, but if you're just going to go with the bone stock settings here, it will take some time to memorize which key does what on the GK68, where the Keychron, you can look right here at the keycaps and you can see most of it is basically labeled right there for you pretty easily. So now let's dive a little bit deeper into that navigation process. Like I said, the Keychron is definitely an easier keyboard to navigate through. I mean, they literally have an LED key switch in the top right corner, which at first, personally, I thought was pretty cool. But after using the keyboard for quite some time, I'm going to tell you right now that I seem to hit that a lot with my pinky when I go to hit the backspace key. So that's going to take some getting used to. I mean, yes, that's a personal issue, but it's definitely worth mentioning. What's really awesome is that the Keychron has some switches built into the left side of the keyboard. And these switches you don't really see on keyboards. And what it does is it allows you to navigate even easier through the Bluetooth modes, Mac or Windows, wired mode, on or off. It's really super easy with the flick of a switch up or down, and I really do love that. Now, both these keyboards are powered via USB Type-C. That's great. But why, oh why, I'll never understand on the Keychron, they decided to put the USB Type-C power port next to the buttons, literally right above the buttons on the left-hand side. It's absolutely obnoxious. It is seriously one of the worst designs I've ever seen. I don't understand why they didn't just put the USB Type-C on the top of the keyboard like every other keyboard in existence, because when it's on the left-hand side, it just gets in the way and it's not aesthetically pleasing to look at. And especially if you're a left-handed mouse user, this cable will get in the way. Now, I feel like they tried to mask it by giving you this L-shaped USB Type-C cable, but they didn't, do anything else. Like it still doesn't work. The cable just flares out. I felt like they should have maybe put some routing on the bottom of the actual keyboard itself, where I could have maybe snuck the cable through and popped it out to the back and hit it that way. It wouldn't have been as bad. I wouldn't have minded it, flaring out on the left-hand side. But the fact that the cable just shoots up, it's not nice to look at, and I don't understand the design process behind that. And like I said, if you're a left-handed mouse user, good luck, because that's gonna get in the way. So when it comes to typing overall on both of these keyboards, and yes, I will give you guys a sound test here in a moment. I know both switches are different, but you still can kind of get the sound of how each case might feel with the switches that I currently have, and that might help you out. So you will get a sound test in one moment. But when it comes to typing, overall, between both keyboards, I will say that I do have a better experience typing on the Keychron over the GK68XS. Now, minus the accidental LED button click with my pinky, when I'm going to hit the backspace key, it's kind of just a more comfortable keyboard to type on. And they do give you height adjustment on this board, which is pretty huge. So the legs in the back will flip up and give you multiple different height adjustments here that you could easily open up and close, which is always a plus. I feel in the GK68, you might have to invest in a wrist rest here, and that's just something to keep in mind. I mean, it might be different for you, but it's just personal between both boards. I found it a lot more comfortable and a little bit more easier to type for a longer period of time on the Keychron over the GK68XS. So let's talk build quality. Both these boards are the plastic case option. Now the Keychron does have a aluminum trimming that goes around the entire case, but it doesn't do it much justice. Honestly, I kind of think it hurts the board a little bit because if you look at the edges, you have these weird little gaps and it's not super smooth and streamlined like the GK68 is. And overall, I'm going to tell you that the Keychron feels a little bit cheesier. It's a lighter board, it has a slight flex to it, and the GK68 is a much heftier board and doesn't really have much flex, and you feel like you're getting a more premium board when it comes to the GK68XS. Especially now, if you remember those keycaps, you're getting the PBT on the GK68 over the ABS, so the longevity-wise and that fresh look is going to be way better and long-lasting on the GK68 over the Keychron. So of course, it's 2020, and every keyboard on Earth and in the entire universe must have RGB, right? I mean, just come on, you can't have a keyboard RGB these days. So of course, they both come with RGB. Now, when it comes to the LED vibrancy, I feel that the Keychron does take the cake here. I mean, it could be due to the fact that the keycaps do have shine-through legends, which is always a plus. It just kind of aesthetically looks better. But overall, I just feel like it's more vibrant and a little bit brighter and more, I guess you could say, almost subtle at the same time on the Keychron over the GK68XS. But overall, I mean, the GK68 has a lot more of an in-depth color wheel. They also have their own program, which I'm going to tell you right now isn't it could be because it's early right now, but the program is just not easy to navigate through. If you're like me and your native language is English, it's going to be a difficult time. I mean, if you do put some time into it, you will eventually figure it out because it's not that much different from other LED programs and macro programs, but it's a little bit more difficult to navigate through because it's not in all English, and it works, but it's just not the best yet. So give that some time. Hopefully they do fix that around, but you do have a more in-depth color wheel option when it comes to the GK68. You can make your own colors. You can go through. There's like 16.8 million different color options. I'm pretty sure people could upload one to the library, but you will get more options via that on the GK68. They both do have onboard presets built in that you can easily navigate through on both keyboards. But when it comes to LED vibrancy, I think it's better on the Keychron, but when it comes to having more options of RGBs and RGB like lighting modes and things like that, you're gonna get that more on the GK68, especially once you master their program. So real quick to sum it up, I feel that I hit every single major point that I wanted to speak of when it comes to both of these keyboards. I know this wasn't a super in-depth video, but that's not what it's about. I'm just talking about some quick pros and cons here to help you guys make that end game purchase. So, if I have to compare both of these guys, when it comes down to build quality, I'm going to go with the GK68. I like that the keycaps are PBT. They will last and look better in the long run. And it has that more sturdier, beefier, premium feel over the Keychron. When it comes to RGB, the Keychron will take the cake here, and that's because of the vibrancy. I don't really care that the color wheel and the color spectrum is so broad on the GK68 because I'm not one person to sit here and have my keyboard, going through a whole light show. I like a static color, and I can get that with the Keychron and have it be pretty vibrant, a little bit more brighter and more vibrant than the GK68. So when it comes to RGB, I would go with the Keychron. Now, when it comes to the overall typing experience, the navigation is absolutely a breeze on the Keychron. It really is. Everything is written there for you like a little map. You can't really have any issues, especially if you're new to the game. Personally, I'm a pretty experienced keyboard user, and I actually like the fact that I don't need to have all that stuff on my keycaps. I also I like the actual space bar. I love that the space bar can be changed out to 3 different keys. I get more productivity when it comes to editing or some macros in game. I can set that up. I know I could swap some keys around on the Keychron and set certain keys to do whatever, but I like that I have that extra option, and I could see myself utilizing that with the space bar module on the GK68. Overall, when it comes to that typing experience, like I said, for me, it wasn't that great of a difference when it came to the comfort aspect. I didn't have any issues. I used both keyboards for well over a day or two when it came to typing and gaming. And yeah, it was a little bit more comfortable, I guess you could say, on the Keychron because of the height adjustment, but I didn't have any personal issues when it came to the GK. You might though. It really depends on your wrist placement, how that might feel when you're typing. Personally, it was no issues with me. So These are all personal things to keep in mind, but if I have to pick a clear winner, I'm going to go with the GK68. Even though the one that I have is around 100, 110 bucks, it's actually technically $10 more, I believe, than the Keychron. The Keychron get under 100 bucks, between like 80 on sale to under like maybe 100 bucks I've seen. So it's like a $10 price difference. Not enough to break the bank. I would personally go with the GK68. It just fits my needs overall for everything that I do on a daily basis. But it might be different for you. And like I said, if you guys are a Mac user, this is huge. You know, pick which keyboard you might think is better and get yourself a nice premium, you know, mechanical keyboard and start enjoying it, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, please give it a huge thumbs up. Share it with a friend. If you guys are new here, please consider subscribing. Let's grow the community bigger and better. And if you wanted the conversation a little further, head over to the Discord and come say what's up. All right, guys, I hope you guys are all staying safe out there. I love each and every one of you. Peace out.